Hey, what's going on? Alex in the building, and I am back to put you up on knowledge. So for today's video, what I'm going to cover is the one thing that if you ever feel like your life sucks, things aren't going well for you, or for whatever reason, you're just really unhappy with your situation in life right now, there's one thing behind it that's always the root cause and always the root problem that's going on with your life, okay? So without any further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and break into it and let you know exactly how to fix this problem and how to then fix everything else in your life so that you can start to work your way out of it and get to a much better place internally. So the one thing that's making you think your life sucks right now, no matter what your external situation is your emotional health and your emotional regulation. Okay, let me go ahead and break that down. So what I mean by that is that all of us as human beings, we have our emotional baseline that we live through, okay? Everyone wakes up and has an average or a standard emotional state that they exist in usually. So if you have a scale of 1 to 10, say 1 is like the worst day ever. You're depressed, you're pissed off, everything's getting to you. Nothing feels great at all. And then 10 is like the best day you've ever had. You're on vacation in Cancun, you're just living your best life, whatever it may be. So everyone has a certain place on this scale though that they go through every day. So what tends to happen is, a lot of people look externally and think that, oh man, my life really sucks right now because man, I can't get a job, I got no good relationships going on, my money's low, everything is not really working well for me in my life. But really what it comes down to, and the root cause that's making you, stay in that place with the bad external situation and not enjoy your life, is that emotional state that you're in. Because what you need to realize is that emotional state drives everything in your life and thus creates all your results and everything that you get. I mean, think of an easy example. You hear of a lot of really rich people, like millionaires, who end up killing themselves or end up just doing drugs and going crazy. And you can ask yourself that, if you're someone who's not doing that well financially, you can ask, how does that make sense? How is someone who's making all that money, all this lavish lifestyle that they're living, ever be pissed off or depressed? If I was in that situation, I would never be mad. I would be smiling every day, right? That's what we all think. But what it comes down to is that emotionally, these people achieved all this external greatness, all these great things that are happening for them. But inside, they're really fighting a battle that no one knows about. And they're fighting a battle that they're losing real bad, okay? If you take it from this perspective, you could think of, if you have someone who's dead broke, homeless even, has nothing going for them, but they have a lot of great, relationships, or they're just really emotionally healthy and they love their life. They love they're grateful for every little thing that they're achieving. That person inside has a lot more potential to do good and to exist in a better place mentally than somebody who's got everything in the world, who really is struggling within themselves and struggling to handle their emotional regulation. So again, in your situation, if you think things are sucking for you, it really just comes down to your emotional mindset, or more so your emotional state and your emotional health. Once you learn about healing work and removing past trauma in your life, all these kinds of things, and you realize how good you can feel on a daily basis, it doesn't matter what's happening externally. Of course, you're not just gonna settle and accept anything, but if you start off with a nice, healthy, ground level emotional state that you can build on, that is going to solve most of your problems, because that's going to help you actually get out of it instead of just being addicted to this negative state that you're always in. What you need to realize is that your emotional state actually affects everything in terms of your actions and your results in life, because it's really the root of who you are as a person. Okay? A lot of people don't really make this connection to understand that how their brain is programmed and how they naturally, their perception that they view the world in through the emotional lens that they're bringing is the thing that's going to then affect pretty much all their actions that they take. Think of the last time you were really just pissed off and you had a bad day, nothing was working for you. Think of the actions you took, think of how you felt, think of the results you're probably creating in that moment. I can almost guarantee that you weren't having a great time and you weren't doing too much that's productive for you, because your emotional state grounded you in a bad place. It kept you from really expanding and taking the right action. It's almost like it's it's like a second brain. It's like a subconscious thing that controls how you feel to such an extent that it's going to control your actions, because it's going to really sway you to move in one way instead of what you really should do. Again, you know, when you look at the other end of the spectrum, think of a day that you just felt great. Everything's working well. You know, you're having it's just a great time emotionally. Think of how easy it felt to do everything you wanted. How easy it is to hit the gym when you're super happy, super motivated, you know, in the beginning of the year instead of the 4 months in. Or how easy it is to go talk to people, to new people, and to create great relationships when you're having a great night, you're with your friends, everything's fun, instead of time where you're alone and you had a bad day at work, etc. So what I'm really trying to say is that emotionally, once you really get to the point where you can sort out or root out all the little things that are causing you to feel in this really bad, really negative, really unhealthy emotional state, and you're able to drive yourself to naturally almost always feel good about yourself, it's like butter. It's easy. It's super smooth for you to then go out and achieve anything that you want to change your life, because from there you're coming from a state where you can actually get yourself to take action without resistance, without fighting yourself to do it. Because like underlying everything, emotion drives behavior. You know, I'm sure you might have heard that before, but if you actually apply this principle and understand that when I can get myself to feel the way I need to feel, things will come easier for me, because then there'll be less resistance. I'll be able to actually take the action that I need to. This is a game changer, guys. I'm telling you, keep this in mind. And I can understand any type of resistance, or if you really don't want to believe me or think that this is really the key thing that's driving everything in your life, I can understand, you know. But what you got to keep in mind, again, is that everyone responds differently to external stimuli and external things, events that happen in your life. You could imagine if you just won $1 million right now, you know, you had the best relationship in the world, all your problems were solved externally, but you still felt really bad emotionally at this moment. Do you really think that all those external things would then drive you out of that emotional state and really keep you there? Or you think you would naturally sway back into feeling not so great about yourself because that's what your brain's addicted to? Okay, think of it this way. I'm sure you've probably heard of Dan Bilzerian, you know, the big baller on Instagram who's living the most lavish life you could think of. This guy's got more money than he can ever know what to do with, more women than he can ever know what to do with. You know, he's living a lavish life. He can hang out with anyone he wants. He can do whatever he wants anytime, all day long. And then it's funny because I was actually looking at some research done, you know, on, not really research, but like interviews done on him, asking him like, how do you feel, man? Like, your life must be amazing. You must always feel great. And he's actually mentioning that at this point, like, he has such high standards and high needs that he needs to literally be having everything a 10 out of 10, perfect to even feel a little, you know, happiness, to even feel something, because his dopamine levels have been so high being exposed to all this amazing stuff all the time, and he hasn't actually felt like true joy in a while. And think about that. That's kind of natural in terms of the point I'm trying to make. Like, you could have everything given to you externally, anything you want, but if you never like fix that, what's going on in here, up here, and you never address that, I promise you, those external things will not fix your problem. It will not fix your life. They will for a bit. You know, a lot of people will win the lottery and then things go great for a while. Then what happens? Either they lose all their money because they're actually programmed to not know what to do with money, to not want to keep the money, and to fall back into their old habits, or they find problems. You know, those people who always find problems in everything that's going on. They're on vacation, they find a problem. They're, you know, they just want some money, find a problem at some point. That's coming from here. And the issue is, everything is a reflection of here. So once you handle here, you can get those other things, and then you can actually appreciate it. But you need to start by appreciating it first, appreciating your life first, and fixing your emotional state first. And then everything else can come much easier because it's natural. It actually fits into your life instead of you subconsciously resisting all that all the time. So guys, you need to understand that most people have it backwards. They really think that, oh, you know what, I'll feel better when, etc., 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 instead of when I feel better, I'll then get etc., etc., etc. Okay? External things can't fix you. They will for a bit, but they can't actually fix you because you always have to deal with you. So if you have the mindset of thinking that when I get that thing, then my problem will be solved and I will be fixed, it's not gonna work. I can guarantee it almost. And it won't work long term at least. But when you realize that, you know what, when I feel better, when I handle me, and then what that allowed me to do is get those things with ease and really change myself with ease. You know, personally for my story, like one thing I started doing when I really worked on my emotional health, really worked on changing how I felt about myself and what I was doing with my life, you know, I started taking action so much easier because it was a natural thing for me to do. Biggest thing that changed is that my resistance to taking action, my resistance to you know, just putting myself out there and working out all the time when I want to work out, doing the right actions and like having control of my life changed when I changed. Okay, externally nothing was given, I had to go get it, but the only way I was able to go get it is when I looked right here and I put in that work. So don't have the backwards mindset of I'll get it, or when I get that I'll change. You have to think of when I change I will get that. All right, so now for the $1 million question. How do you actually do this? How do you actually change your emotional state and your emotional health day by day so that you can then make these external changes happen so much easier and love your life regardless what's happening externally? So the biggest thing I have to let you guys know, I gotta keep it real. This is a small, very step-by-step process. It can't happen overnight. Your brain has been programmed a certain way for so many years. Depending on how old you are, you know, it's been going down a certain range or certain road. This most likely the same way for so long. You can't just abruptly switch it immediately. So what you need to realize though is that the biggest thing you need to do is build your awareness of yourself. You need to take the take the path and realize that you could, as a human being, get to the point where you're able to almost have a external view of your life and have a outside awareness of who you are, what you're doing, where you then can detach yourself and really look at your life critically and understand who you are, how you're thinking, and really only with that mindset is how you're gonna actually make any changes in your life. Because if you're too attached to your present being, you're too attached to how you are right now, good luck, man. It's really not gonna work too well for you. You're going to have to understand that, listen, I'm not perfect. I understand where I'm coming from. I'm gonna watch myself and view myself externally and see that the XYZ are things that I don't like about me. XYZ are things that are bothering me all the time. And I gotta do something about it because it's my responsibility. It may not be your fault that you are the way you are, but it's your responsibility. So, best things I can recommend, of course, meditation. Meditation is those things where you just sit there and you analyze yourself. You're literally it's like an experiment where you're just watching you. You're watching your thoughts, you're watching yourself as a human being, how you're thinking, and then you're realizing where you're starting from. And then from there, you'll understand, hey, if I always feel bad, watch your thoughts and realize, you know what, my thoughts are probably pretty unhealthy. They're probably not doing too much for me in terms of serving me and being positive in my life. So that's one thing, you know, become aware of who you are and how you are. Secondly, you need to get your health on point in other ways. Physically, you need to start doing exercise because those things drive those right hormones and right chemicals in your brain that will then allow you to feel better naturally. Again, your emotions are chemicals at the end of the day too. You know, it's physiology. So without having the right physiology, if you're always eating trash food, you're never leaving your house doing any exercise at all, like how are you gonna feel good? It's just not emotionally healthy for you to do those things. So you gotta change that too. And then third, you really gotta start taking those little steps to build your relationships up and build a support group for yourself as well. Those are going to be some important things to socially. You need connections, you need people who you can confide in, and you need people who can help you out along the road, because that's going to be very emotionally healthy for you and help you down this road too. But then lastly, the fourth thing, and the thing that you probably aren't doing right now, I can almost guarantee it, is the emotional healing work that is required. What you don't understand is that all of us have these subconscious, pretty much traumatizing experiences that we've done in one way or another, that we've been through, that have been holding us back and are keeping our brains thinking that we're one way, keeping our beliefs thinking that we're one way. And if you can learn how to dig into that part of your brain and understand that it's there and it's been affecting you, and that if you can get that out of the way and realize that you don't have to be a victim of your circumstances, but you can actually make the changes within and kind of free yourself, free your brain from these attachments, these negative attachments. That's what's gonna make a change that you didn't even know was possible. Because almost instantly, when I started doing breath work, things such as shamanic breathing, very deep meditations, other things of this nature, perception can change instantly. When you do it intensely enough, you feel the emotion, you let it ride through you, and you just you get that out of your system day in and day out. It's crazy. These are the kind of things you don't learn in school, but they really are a game changer. So again, no matter what you're going through in your life, if you feel like your life sucks for whatever reason, I don't care what it is, it's money, it's relationships, it's anything like that, the only way you're gonna really get out of that and guarantee it is if you change here. I promise you, start with this. You will then get everything else changed for you much better. You can watch my journey on this channel. You'll see exactly how I'm doing it, and you'll see in some time, I'm gonna take it as far as I can. So again, if you like this video, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. I'm gonna keep these videos coming for all you guys, and I'm gonna make sure that we get you right as you watch me get right too. Okay, so thanks again for watching. Don't forget, go out there, play the game.